Hello and welcome to the Netmums Podcast, where real parenting conversations happen. I'm Louise Burke.
And I'm JB Gill. And today I'm very excited because our guest is not only a presenter, actor, author, Radio 2 host, Bake Off the Professionals even presenter, and author of a book, but she's also my fellow contestant on the box.
Yeah. All right, give that a rest for a minute. We'll get to that later. She's a mum of 2 children and is possibly one of the funniest mums I know out there who gives a good, refreshing take on parenthood, I think. Anyway, I love your socials.
Oh,
They're funny. I love the video this morning as well. Welcome, Ellie Taylor.
Thank you very much. What a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's so good to have you here, honestly. I don't think I've seen you, actually, since we did the box.
No.
We've spoken a little bit.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun, and we will get to that a bit later. But today we're going to be talking about.
Sit in between the two of you and keep you apart.
We're strategically placed. We'll be talking about that all night. But yes, no, we're talking about second babies, the reality of sharing the parenting load. I think we all have to manage that and juggle that, don't we? And also why the early years might not be your most favourite.
Awful.
Part of life.
Well, I was going to dive into that straight away, actually, because obviously you wrote a book, My Child and Other Mistakes, a Sunday Times bestseller. No,
thank you.
Nonetheless.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Just getting that in quick. So you had your first child, daughter.
Yeah.
5 years later, had a second one.
Yeah.
What was the difference in when that second one came along? Because it was 5 years later. And like Jay said, when you had that first baby, you were very open and honest when you were saying the newborn days, you know what? They just don't suit me.
No, they were not for me.
So tell us a bit about those newborn days first.
Yeah.
And what you talk about in the book for those that've not read it. And also the difference when that next child, 5 years later, just when you think you're out of the woods, you've done the potty training, you're sleeping again, and then another one comes in.
So, so I had my daughter when I was 35. Took me a long time to work out if I did want to have kids. Eventually I basically decided that I didn't want to die without becoming a mum.
Okay. That's a lively, joyous.
Well, lively, like a heartwarming way. But that was essentially it. What do you want your life to look like when you're older? I think I want children in it. Oh God, I'm going to have a flipping baby then, don't I? So had the baby, loved the pregnancy. That was all really exciting. And then the babe came, had quite a, no one has not many people have a fabulous birth.
Yeah.
Didn't love that. The aftercare was not super great. I think that was quite impactful. And I found the first probably 6 months I was quite loopy. I think in hindsight I probably had postnatal depression. I didn't realise, but I felt really, really all over the place. In the book, I remember I wrote something. It felt like my life had been poured into like a blender and then whizzed up and then poured back out. And it was the same molecularly. It was the same, but it was completely different. Yeah. And I felt like I was sort of acting like, well, this is the way Ellie would be. This is what Ellie would do. I felt very disconnected. It was very strange, and it was the sleep, I think, really got to me, obviously. And then I sort of clawed my way out of that. And then once she got to over 1, things felt much better. But yeah, I certainly wasn't like fall in love with them instantly. It was definitely, I fell in love with my kids over time.
It wasn't just like the connection of having the baby, like the whole process of having the baby and the baby, physically having a baby, but also being a new mum. Is that what you struggled with as well?
I just didn't know. I hadn't been around babies. I didn't know anything. I knew I'd seen mums in cafes.
Doesn't count.
That's what it's like. No one had gone like the reality of it. And again in the book, I'm like, if like NCT did like a little class trip to a night shift with the baby, where you just stand in the room of like, oh my God. So this is what every 2 hours in the night you're awake. And I remember the first night I brought her home and she cried, and I didn't know what to do. And then what I did was I picked her up and walked around the house, and then I laid on the floor in the living room, and I was like, I think I'm doing this because this is like what maybe you do in a film with a baby. But I didn't know what I was meant to do, which sounds so silly, but I was totally unprepared. I didn't know about wake windows. I didn't know about anything.
Did you do the NCT classes?
But that's all very much about the birth, isn't it?
It's leading up.
You say that, but I did the NCT classes with my first, and no one told me that you had to give birth to the placenta.
Right.
So that massively surprised me when, after I'd gone through the whole birth and then realised I had to give birth to placenta, even though I was like high as a kite and, you know, delirious by that point.
It's funny the things you don't know. I always remember, like, when Kate Middleton had her first baby, not that, you know, I was sort of not dissimilar ages, and she appeared on the step, obviously mental, but she still looked pregnant. That was the first time. I was like, oh, I never knew that. I thought you went back to kind of normal straight. I had no idea. And I must have been in my late 20s, 30s at that point. Like, that's wild. The things you don't know are crazy.
Did you feel like you had much support, or did you very much learn on the job every single day, figuring it out?
I think it was a bit of both. Like, my mum and my sister were amazing. Felt real solidarity and love from there. And it made me realise what a rubbish sister I'd been, because my sister's older than me. She had kids quite a few years ago. And I was such a little bitch to her. I didn't give a monkeys. I was so uncaring. I just didn't understand. And I thought I will always feel guilty about that. But she was wonderful. They were both wonderful. And yeah, I mean, you claw your way through, and then she was a fun little toddler, and then we thought we'd try and have another kid, and then it all took a lot. We didn't plan 5 years; it just sort of took a while. And then so my second, it was a big deal to decide to have a second, because like you said, I was kind of we were through it all, and we
the naps are out the door,
and we chose to go back into the woods, and that was, I mean, that was full on when he arrived again. I think probably for a good 6 months, every day I would think, well, I've ruined our lives.
But did you?
I've ruined our lives by having him.
It's interesting because I've got not too dissimilar a gap to you, almost 4 years. It's quite a big gap between our first and our second. And that was a conscious decision.
Right.
And I think we always definitely wanted to have at least two. We're done at 2, but, you know, we always wanted to have another one. For you, was it a conscious decision to have another one, or was it a case of, you know, perhaps an accident, it happened?
No,
we
were trying it. We were taking supplements, this, that, and the other.
And so you didn't want to
everything.
particularly have a big gap?
No, it was just
It just took a while.
we really ramped up the supplements and everything at the end when we're like, why is this? Come on, because with my daughter, it was like that. And it just, you never know, do you? And then, my son came around, and he was an awful baby. Bless him. He was one of my friends always said about her kid that her baby just didn't like being a baby. And that's exactly with my son. He did not like being he was just so screamy. Like the other day, I went for a lunch with my friend.
Because he was colic? Or?
No, he was just a little bastard.
Just screaming all the time.
He was a little shit. He was really angry with life. He had a rough start in that he was jaundiced, and he wasn't putting on weight, and we had issues with feeding. So he had the first month, we didn't realise, but he was basically just really bloody hungry.
Right. Hungry and hangry.
Hangry, exactly. And he had this permanent little frown on his face.
Oh, bless him.
He would scream a lot. Yeah, I went for lunch with a friend the other day who's got a 3-month-old, and this little chubby lovely had a little cuddle with me, and then we were having lunch. She put him in the pram. After a while, he got a little bit annoyed, a few little mews. She fed him. And then I went, and she was like, oh, he'll fall asleep now. I'm just going to get a margarita. And I was like, what? The flip is this? This is not my experience.
Not fair.
It was my way. It was like a grenade. Like if he's not asleep, he needs to be asleep or feeding. And if there's anything in between, it's a nightmare. And he needed sleep so bad, but he fought sleep like it had keyed his car. Like he hated it. And it was
even when they're tired.
Yes.
Then people go, maybe it's because they're overtired now, and you're like, whatever.
And
it is.
the screaming, and we had the white noise and the rock. It was honestly awful. And at one point, you know, they go through cycles, don't they? He only wanted to sleep in the buggy, and my husband's a stay-at-home dad, and I went back to work very early, also not fab. And I was like, how many steps have you done today? And my husband's like, 27,000.
Plotting around trying to get him
to sleep. He's a winter baby as well, so in the miserable
rain.
So it was that first year with him was hard. But he's much happier character now he's older. Because I did think, and I would use, you know, Netmums and the like to be like, miserable
normal?
baby, okay in the end, sort of thing. Because you just think, what is there something up with him? Is he just a little miserable bastard? I don't understand this. And then he's you know, they change a million times, don't they? And he's so cute and funny, and I love him so much now. But it was a definite process of falling in love with him. And I'm really glad we had him now. And I didn't always feel like that, but I love being a little family of four.
Family
I
of
love
four.
it now.
Can I go back to just briefly the emotional side of that 5-year sort of wait for your second? Because I think a lot of other parents will sort of listen to that story and think, oh, that's me. It's taking me a long time. And I know myself, like when you're within a group of other parents on like first baby, and that people are, the WhatsApp message drops in on the group saying, big news, we're expecting our second. And you're like,
yeah.
And it's fine. The first one, you're like, oh, congratulations. And it's just awful, that sort of green-eyed monster that takes over a little bit. Let's be honest, like when everyone else it's happening for other people. How did you find that weight? And like you said, you up your supplements. What were the supplements magic supplements?
So it was the first, when like the NCT group, like you say, first of all, when people were saying they're pregnant, I was like, are you insane? Like our babies are babies. What are you doing? And then it got on, and then we started trying maybe when my daughter was about 3, and that took a while. And then I remember like it wasn't happening, and one of my very, very best friends, we were at a party, and her husband was like, well, she can drive, she's driving me home, that's fine. And then she was like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. And I found it really upsetting, and we had to I had to leave the party.
It happens to a lot of people. It's really hard to manage.
I think it's also hard to, with the second, I felt it very hard to work out what I really wanted and what is societal pressure.
Yes.
And I'm never sure if I really untangled it all, to be honest. But I found, I also think with her, if I'm honest, it was also like, I feel like I've had such a charmed life, and I'm kind of used to getting what I want, and I wasn't getting what I want. And I was like, hang on a minute. This isn't a situation I'm usually in control. I felt very out of control, and I'm a control freak.
In that situation, you were waiting on
exactly
nature.
That. And then with what was doing, my husband was taking a load of different things. I stopped doing caffeine. I stopped drinking. I can't even remember what else I was doing. But nothing like totally wacky, just sort of looked
just
online.
Trying to tweak
exactly. But I found the caffeine harder than the booze, to be fair. Like, because I really missed a cup of tea.
Well, then you already had one as well.
Yeah.
So you were running around doing all of that.
I was like one a day. And I had to have non-caffeine tea. And then eventually it happened, and thought, oh my God. And then I found out, and I was like, and I was away filming, and I happened to do a test. I was filming this thing where I was doing loads of stunts. It was like an action thing.
Quite physical.
So I thought, I'll just check. And I did a test, and I was in the middle of nowhere, like by myself. So I had to text my husband, and then it was so weird because I couldn't, it was just me. And I was like, I can't, what do I do? How do I process this? And then I had to tell the stunt people, because I'm like, I'm pregnant, so I can't do the stunt. So people are congratulating me when I'm probably about 3 weeks pregnant, just dealing with what on earth this is going to mean. I'm like, don't congratulate me. It's really weird. And I'm like, telling a stunt coordinator that you're pregnant before your parents. So it's very odd. That was an odd time. And then there was the thing when I found out I was having a boy as well. I didn't like that. Oh, I cried a lot about that.
Really?
Yeah. Which I think is a really important thing to talk about, the gender dysphoria. Because with my daughter, I always wanted a girl, and I wanted a girl, desperate for a girl. When I found out I was having a girl, I did the harmony test, because I was like, I want to find out ASAP.
Wow,
I was gunning, because I'm incredibly controlling.
Right, okay.
So I found out I was having my daughter. She was a girl, like punched the air like I'd just won the World Cup. With my son, did the harmony test, and I got the results. I opened it with my husband. I found it. I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And my husband was like, you need to get a grip here.
But what was he like as well?
He was fine.
He didn't mind.
He didn't mind.
Okay.
But I'm very unimaginative. I'm one of 2 girls. I just wanted to repeat what I had.
You like what you know.
Exactly that. I'm just not clever enough to be like, I was like, computer cannot compute. And so that took a long process. But now I find it it's fascinating having a little Willie in the house, man. Oh my God, me and my daughter are learning a lot. And it's a totally different energy. And my sister again was super sweet. She's got a boy and a girl, and she was like, knew how I was finding it a bit difficult to come to terms with it. And she was like, it's so lovely. We're so lucky to get 2 different types of love, and you have these 2 different relationships, and we're just so lucky, Ellie, to experience this. And that was it was so kind, and she did it so beautifully, and that really made me feel really chirpy about it. And I do really like it now. It's lovely. And like, my girl is always my best girl, and he's always my best boy. So
different kids, different vibes.
Exactly.
And slightly less comparison, I think, because which helps.
Yes.
That must be hard with 3 three girls.
Yeah, I've got 3 girls, in the house.
Yeah.
So, and they're all incredibly close, which is great.
Yeah.
But you do, as a parent, obviously you do this anyway when you've got multiple children, where you go, oh, well, that one liked avocados.
Yeah.
Or that one was very good at maths. And it's like, oh, they're different people.
Yeah.
You mentioned before, just then, that you are a bit of a control freak about the gender. How, I know that your husband is a stay-at-home dad. You went to work, back to work quite quickly. How quickly after you? Not that I'm judging.
No, it's fine. About 8 weeks.
Yes, that is quite quick. How do you find, as a control freak and being the sort of mother of the house in a sort of stereotype or traditional way, how do you feel like letting go of some of those reins when it comes to meal times, organisation?
I mean, some of it just has to let go. And there's also a lot of trying to micromanage. And overcompensating. That's how I do it. And my husband...
I feel like your answer just then was quite controlled as well. Sometimes you just have to let
Sometimes.
go.
When my eye twitches.
I keep telling myself, sometimes, Ellie, you just have to let go.
I think at the beginning I probably found it harder. He's been doing it now for 4 years.
Right.
So, and he basically had, he was the new mum with the baby. So, it's certainly hard, and I absolutely haven't mastered it yet. But sometimes I'll message him and be like, remember this and this and this. And he's like, I feel like it's kind of part of my process. Like I'm 95% sure he'd have remembered all of that anyway, but I feel like I have to do it to be like, I've done my thing. So there's that. And I mean, I can't control I've let go dinners and stuff. He's in charge of all the foodie stuff
and he's
now.
good at it.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Yeah.
How did you guys come to that conclusion? Because it's something that Chloe and I have discussed it, and I'm the main breadwinner in my household, and it just is that way. But I've always said to her, listen, if you ended up, everything happens these days, content creation and this and that. I was like, if you were flying doing that, I would be more than happy to sort of be at home and do the school runs and all that sort of stuff. Like, I live for that stuff. How did you get to that conclusion? Because it's not a dynamic that we often hear about or see in modern society, is it?
It should be, but let's be honest, you don't see it that often.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, in the majority of households, both parents are working. So it's very different to when I was brought up, it was my mum was looking after us, my dad was out of work. But we basically so my husband was an international correspondent for an international news channel. So he was flying here, there and everywhere. Yeah. My job is obviously bats and the schedule is different. The hours are weird. So it got to a point when we just had my daughter at this point that we just couldn't manage it. Our schedules were too crazy. She was being passed around a little bit and it just got too wild and we thought she needs some stability here. So we either get a full-time nanny or one of us has to stop working. And things were going well for me. And my husband was like, he's older than me. He's like, I'm happy to take a break. So that happened. Then we were thinking about that. Then I got Strictly, and
which is all consuming.
As you know. It's 6 days a week, and at least half of the 7th day you're thinking about it anyway.
Fantastic, by the way.
Oh, thanks. So it was so full on. We were like, he took a little career break for that, and then he just we were like, this is working well for us, and he didn't go back.
And he was enjoying it.
But I think it's a different. My daughter was 4; she was at nursery. Not full time, but it wasn't as full on as when we had the second baby, and I went back to work, and he's stuck with this screamy little goblin. Yeah. That was really hard on him, and I think it was a really hard year for all of us. And I always remember that the grace that he sort of offered me. Like I remember, I'd leave for work. I was doing this job where I was away for 2 days, back for 2 days, away for 2 days. So I would literally pass him over a baby at 5 a.m, often screaming. And I know what the next 48 hours is going to be like for him. And he would always go, like, good luck, have fun, and give me a kiss. And he'd always say, have fun. And that makes me teary thinking about it. No, but he meant probably a bit, but he did mean it. Yeah. And I think to offer that was very graceful.
Important. And because that's when resentment brews as well, and that's really unhealthy.
Absolutely. And I'm sure we don't get the balance right all the time, but I think we do a good job. And I really try and be as as grateful and as helpful as I can be. I know he thinks like, because it's overcompensating. So I'll be like, I've got to leave, but I've done the kids' bags and they're all ready. He's like, you don't need to do that. But it's like,
I can do this.
Yeah. But I think it's also, again, it's societal. Mummy should be doing
I
this
need
you
stuff.
feel like you need to.
I should be doing it. I think I do more than a man would do in this situation, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And that's not because he's asking that of me or expects that of me. I think a lot of that is the own pressures I put on me.
Yeah, no, totally. So if the weekend, well, we're both working in our house. So say for a weekend day, I go out and leave my husband. I'm always like running through what food's in the fridge or what time someone's being picked up for whatever birthday party or where the birthday present is. But if he goes away,
Bye!
straight out the door.
It's interesting that it happens though, because for me, I often think, you know, and please take this as no disrespect. I often find, especially, I'll just use Chloe as an example. You know, if I went away, like you say, you know, she'd be there, and for the most part, like, Chloe's incredibly highly organised. She's obviously very, very, you know, knows what she's doing.
She's the ultimate mum.
She absolutely is. But there would have been moments where she just figured it out and just worked out whatever. And I often think, actually, sometimes it does like a little bit of a disservice. Sometimes I feel like that personally, because I'm like, well, even if I did forget the blah blah or didn't do whatever before, actually you do it and know that, oh, do you know what, I forgot that and that was a nightmare, and then you wouldn't do it again, if that makes sense. So actually sometimes there's that space and freedom to actually make the mistake, which I think everybody has to do, no matter what it is, whether it's parenting or anything else, that sometimes I don't get, you know what I mean?
There's that. I remember there's a phrase with babies, like, don't become the expert in the baby. You don't want to be, as the mum, the default one. Oh no, the baby will only go down with me. Do you know that something? Because you are trapped. That's a bit
like martyrdom as well,
and you've got to and I did try and do that with my husband at the beginning, like, to just step back. Like, he'll do his thing. It might not be the way you do it, and it's really hard not to bite your tongue off.
Especially when they're struggling to get in the car seat or something. You're like, just move out the way.
But you just gotta, you do your own things, and you end up. But we have, I think, our overall parenting approach is quite similar, but we definitely do things in our own ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how does he? I'm interested to know. Does he ever share with you how he comes across to other people as the sort of full-time stay-at-home dad? Because I know, like, in the past, in my experience, like, if other parents used to see my husband walk off with the kids at drop off or something, they'd be like, oh, daddy daycare today, is it? And it'd be like, why is it not mummy daycare when they see me? You know, it's just that sort of expectation.
I think that he's just been doing it so long, and now it's kind of obviously is what it is. But there has been times where people do. I did a bit about this in my show, like my last stand-up show, like, the reaction is like, I remember like a few times, genuinely, the people's reaction be like, oh, you're gonna write a book about your experience. Are you gonna write a book about your experience? Like, that's how unusual this crazy thing that you're doing.
A really long book.
Yeah, like, it's interesting, because I think if a mum said that she's a stay-at-home mum, no one gives a shit.
No.
He says
that's what we do.
Someone asked if he's gonna write a book about it. But it is. I think it's a testament to him. And again, I'm not sure I could do it I don't think I could be a stay-at-home mum, because I think I'm too, my whole identity is wrapped up with work, whereas my husband is so he's so confident and chilled. You know, do you know what I mean? He doesn't need work to prove who he is. And don't get me wrong, I think being a stay-at-home parent that certainly comes with an identity shift. And I think that's, as the kids get older, I hope that he will find some more space to have, you know, to do something for himself.
That have done that. Where I do actually know a couple where the dad stayed at home and looked after the kids, and now he's picked up his career, and the mother has stepped back from her career.
Yeah, I think there's definitely ebbs and flows, and that's why I say, you know, if Chloe ended up doing something, maybe running a business, whatever it was, where that's something took off. Like, for me, I'd be the first person to be like, absolutely, go ahead, do what you got to do. You know?
I would love for him to find something again to, like, really fill his cup.
It's hard at this age.
It's hard. He's so little.
5.5 and
7.5 and
2.5. Yeah, with the 5 age.
So the 2.5 is just you just think another couple of years and he'll be in school, and then hopefully life will open up a little bit.
But that comes with a whole load of
I know. But I'm really hoping the baby will be less just unreasonable.
That's a reasonable baby.
Yeah.
And then you've said before about your relationship at home, because obviously this dynamic will then impact your relationship. And you've said before that sometimes you live like a couple of co-workers.
Oh yeah,
in
like
the
my
same
brother.
house.
Yeah, he's my brother. Yeah.
Or a flatmate
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Does that like, because whenever that has happened with me, I'm like, it does freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, there's been stuff going on at home where we just haven't we haven't had a date night in 8 months. We haven't been out in the evening.
Or just because of work demands or family demands or
Children's stuff
everything?
going on. They just weren't in a place where, and it was really hard. And we thought we'd cracked it at the beginning of the year. We thought the toddler's not quite so crazy now. Brilliant. We'll be able to once a month we're gonna have a date night, and it hasn't been possible. And that has been really hard because
even once a month you think surely we can
that's
achieve
possible.
that.
Exactly. It feels mad that I'm saying that. But I'm hoping this weekend we're going to go away for a night.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if we manage it.
Stepping it up from a date night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you know what you just like? We just need to get away from the house, away from looking at the washing, that sort of thing, just to change a scene.
Also, those like messages to each other where it's like, can you pick up some milk?
Yeah.
Have you taken the bins out?
Yeah.
Can you chase
It's so transactional, isn't it?
Have you paid the bill? Have you done this?
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly that.
By
It's
the way,
really
how
hard.
are you?
Marriages are really, long-term relationships when you've got kids are really,
how long
really,
have you
really
been
hard.
married?
A
long time.
12 years,
A long time.
12 or 13 years, and we've been together another 5 before that. So a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. And we do so sometimes we just like look at each other like the kids are both screaming like, we had such a nice life before.
So wait, does your son go to nursery?
He goes to nursery, he goes to nursery 3 days a week.
Have you ever done a date day or like a date
we
like
have
breakfast,
done,
brunch?
we've done that. So we've been out we've been out and about in London, which has been really nice. But we'd always be, we'd never made a plan. It's like, we need to go and talk to our accountant. But after that, we'll go for lunch. Do you know what I mean? We do need to prioritise that because that absolutely is time.
That is a winner. That is what we do. We literally will drop the kids off at school, obviously slightly different because we're a little bit older. We'll drop the kids off at school. We'll go and run around and get whatever. And then we'll be done by 2 and know that, okay, well, at least we can do sort of like 11 till 2 or whatever. Have a bit of time, like you say, mooch about in London and then we can come and go.
Because we're both working. So in the week, like the kids go to school, but then, you know,
it's harder for you.
It is really hard. When our kids were your age, Ellie, your kids' ages, they do like a Saturday morning, like football camp or drama camp or something. And actually there was a time when all 3 of them were in the same thing at the same time.
The dream.
Because sometimes you sign them up for these clubs and actually you find yourself during each of the clubs you're just playing taxi. And we would do the breakfast thing on a Saturday morning, which was nice.
That's heaven.
But I feel like that was quite short-lived and a very long time ago. But as they get, I guess it all
we have no
changes,
weekends at all, so weekends don't
clubs,
work
clubs,
for us.
clubs.
But I think that's half the thing. You've got to find what works for each.
For each family,
Yeah, because it's different, isn't it?
And what you need, because if you love like both going to the pub and having a bag of crisps and a pint and just like gossiping about the week, or whether you prefer going for a run or a breakfast or whatever. So find your thing.
Find something.
You do know him well though by this point. You should, you know.
Yeah, I do know quite well, I'd say,
And then in terms of like parenting style, so if he's at home sort of taking that role on largely and you're out working and doing amazing, exciting things with work, what would you say your style is when you come home? Are you sort of all over the kids when you get back home? Or I'd say you're a millennial, is that right?
Millennial, an elder millennial.
So a millennial parent's quite different to like a Gen X parent, and I think there's a lot about a beta mum at the moment.
What does that
as well.
mean?
The beta mum's like a new thing. I keep obviously getting served it on my algorithms and stuff. But a beta mum is less of definitely not a helicopter mum or that alpha mum where they're just trying to like smash everything and get everything right. So beta mum's quite hands off, very much like let the kids roam around, have their sticky fingers. It doesn't matter if they eat like chips for tea one night. It's more of a sustainable approach and less about less performative as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
So the alpha mum's quite performative and like always smashing it. And,
no, I'm definitely not smashing it. No, I couldn't. No, I don't know how people do that on like Instagram, for instance. How the perfect. I can't. I can't. The stress of doing all that. No,
it's a lot.
Oh my God, no. Mine is chaos and
being happy with it. I think that's the point.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
fine. I don't have much pride, so I'm like I would say if I do school drop off, it's very likely I'm wearing something I've slept in, that sort of thing. I really don't have any standards in that regard. And in terms of my kids, they quite often look like. Someone said they once looked like they'd been just sort of taken off of a climate protest. Like the things that they dress, they look whack. Like they've been found in like the sort of lost property bin. That's the sort of clothing vibe that we go for. My daughter's always really scruffy. It's usually got chocolate around her mouth.
Daughter, are you very good at hair and things
I did a course.
Oh wow!
I did a plaiting
committed
course.
Mom.
Well, because I couldn't plait, right? I could plait, but I couldn't do Dutch or French plaits. So I did a 1 day for a 4-hour course, and I learned how to Dutch braid, which is great. I mean, it's still dodgy, and I don't do it often enough, but I can basically do it.
Yeah.
She loves that.
She does like that, yeah. Okay, I mean, it's hit or miss depending how good they look like. So I can do that. So I think, what's my style? I think it's sort of. I'm like, good is good enough. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
And what's your husband like?
I think he's more strict than I am. I think, yeah. He's more authoritative, I would say. I'm more of the easy touch. My general philosophy at the moment is, I try and pour so much love into them and just tell them I love them all the time and smother them in a way that my daughter, I'm like, do you know how much I love you? And she's like, oh, eye roll. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want her to take my love so for granted, that it's so embedded in her bones that will, she'll have that resilience within her forever. That's what I hope. So that I kind of am now. It used to be like, why doesn't she be like, yes, mummy, and I love you too? And like, she's just brushes me off, and I'm like, no, I think this is good. This is good, actually. You should take my love for granted.
Yeah. And I know you're funny to everyone else in the outside world. Are you funny at home?
Yeah.
Do your kids find you funny?
Yeah, I'm very silly with them, and that's the wonderful thing about kids, is they really bring out your silliness, don't they? Yeah. So yeah, that works quite well.
I love watching your Instagram, because you're always silly on Instagram.
Aww.
And I always wonder to myself, does that sort of filter down? I can imagine your daughter being quite funny.
Yeah, she's a little weirdo. I love them. They're both little weirdos.
I was going to say, what's the funniest moment they've sort of talked you into or got you into or doing?
Oh God, what have they done? I mean, I'll do anything for a laugh. This is the problem. And they crack me up with the things that they say or do. I have no pride. If they're out and they're doing a silly dance, I'll be joining in with a silly dance. I don't care what other people think.
Yeah. You can get away with that now, though. Like, I can't do that with my 13-year-old.
I should be mortified. But that's quite fun when you've got the power to embarrass your children as well. Yeah. My daughter she pretends to be embarrassed, and she attempts to do an eye roll, which she can't do, which is great.
So she does like head roll.
But I feel like you were going to revel in that moment when you get there. When she gets to her early teens,
yeah. Oh my God, I'll really come into my own, aren't I?
Do they know that, like, you're off the telly or off the radio? Or...
The toddler obviously doesn't. No. He heard me on the radio the other day and apparently said to my husband, "That's my mama." And then the music came on. He went, "No, more mama." Oh, sorry, darling, I'm going to play music. And then my daughter has a bit of an understanding. She doesn't really care. She said something about someone asked her something at school the other day, and it made her feel a bit funny. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. It's the first time she's sort of
about you.
Yeah. And I thought so we haven't ever had that chat. That not everyone's mummy.
Because let's not forget, you were in one of the biggest TV shows known to man called Ted Lasso.
I was in that. Yeah. The kids at primary school are not watching Ted Lasso.
Of course they're not. Of course they're not. Parents probably are.
Yeah.
But also, like, have you given your, and obviously the boy who's 2.5, not so much, but have you given them a little glimpse of your life at all?
No, not really. I mean, they see if there's, they like what she watched Gladiators. I did Gladiators a few years ago. Oh, she came to watch that live actually, and then she really, it was a great one for her actually. That was really fun. And other than that, and she was, when I did Strictly, she was about she was sort of 3 or 4.
But she must have loved all the
but she wasn't that bothered. She came to a dress rehearsal and was more interested in the snacks sort of thing. So she's not. There's not much respect there, in a good way.
Is she into Saturday night television just yet? Because of course we are both featuring in the book, which I'm very excited about, because I don't know about you. Obviously, we'll get your take on it in a minute. But I genuinely had the best time.
Yeah, really good fun. So this is going to be on ITV in September, starting on Saturday nights. And it is like a new family sort of competition show, I suppose, isn't it? It's sort of like, I mean, you'd loosely say it's I'm a Celeb, but it's nothing like I'm a Celeb
like
at all. And it was brilliant. So the premise is there were 10 of us?
10 of us.
10 of us, celebs, she says, in inverted commas. And you'd sort of all be in these yellow boxes that are like sort of a big filing cabinet, essentially.
Lovely.
And the doors would open and you wouldn't know where you were. So you could be on the doors could open, you could be on an army assault course. You could be on a West End stage. Okay. You could be on the top of a mountain. In this country. So you never knew what the challenge was.
Separately, you're all staggered around.
Well, sometimes you're separately, sometimes all together.
Ooh, interesting.
So you had no idea what, and once the doors open, you could be anywhere, but you also then had to work out what the challenge was.
Right.
So was it a mental challenge? Is it a physical challenge? Is it a performance challenge?
Right.
So it was so nerve-wracking. As I've explained, I'm incredibly controlling.
So to be taken out of your comfort zone,
absolutely
and not told
terrifying. And we didn't know who else was going to be on it. So the first time the doors opened,
we had no idea.
We're trying to work out who else is here and what we're meant to do.
That's exciting.
All hosted by Gary Lineker. And it was really fun, really fun experience and sort of terrifying to sort of throw yourself up to the universe about what was going to happen.
Yeah.
What was it like for you mentally? Because I think for all of us, we kind of dealt with it in slightly different ways. Some of us are a little bit more shouty and whatever. Some of us are a bit more introvert.
Yeah.
What was that side of the experience like for you?
My way of dealing with it was just sort of panic at all times. Lots of flapping. I'm quite a flapper. And I think, I think I learned to trust myself a little bit, that maybe I don't need to prep and micromanage everything and things could be all right. So I think I learned that from doing it. And I made really good relationships with people. There were some fab people, weren't there, JB, on there?
Absolutely.
So there was us two. There was Ranveer Singh.
Oh, I love Ranveer. We've had her on the podcast.
She's one of the best people I've ever met. She's so incredible. Sarah Davis, incredible. Yeah. We found out we went to the same uni at the same time, but we never knew each other. And there was Jenny from The Chase, so clever.
Jenny was lovely, wasn't she?
Graham Souness, footballer, who I didn't know anything about, but was hilarious.
Old school,
Then we had like the youngsters.
The little
Shakira Khan from Love Island. Danny Aarons, who's a streamer. Joey Essex.
That sounds like you had a lot of fun.
It was really, and John Burke, who used to be the Speaker of the House of Commons. So a really wild sort of
mixed bag.
Group. And it was really interesting. And I really enjoyed spending time with everyone. And we had these long journeys where we didn't know where we were going. We were blindfolded, and so lots of chats on the buses.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
How
really good
long
fun.
were you away from home then to do that?
That was a while, So the kids didn't love that, but we got to go back a little bit during filming, so that was nice. But it's a full-on thing, isn't it? When you're doing these sorts of things, you have to say
that's what I was going
goodbye.
to say. Obviously, like when we were doing that, I wouldn't have known as in depth, kind of exactly what you're going through. What was that process like? For me, it wasn't so much difficult because our family dynamic is such that those sorts of things do happen periodically every now and again. Not very, very often, but we kind of set up that we just deal with it, and it's 3 weeks and then you go and then you're done. And then what was it like for you?
It was, similarly, but because my little boy was, a year ago, and he was quite poorly, and at points he was in hospital for a little bit during that. And that's horrible. That's happened a few times when I've been working. He's had to go into hospital, and it was nothing serious. It was a viral wheeze, like he couldn't.
Yeah, but you're not there.
Nothing serious. He just couldn't breathe. But we know there's a process once he goes in and he goes on the little oxygen thing. He'll be all right. But to not be there, and to also just feel the stress of knowing my husband is trying to manage him in hospital.
With another
one and sorting out pickup and all that I feel very, very bad about. It is what it is, and then and here we are and everything's fine. So exactly.
I was going to ask you about the mental load. Do you still, even though you're out working and away from the home, not all the time, but when you're working, do you feel, is that mental load constant for you, or are you able just to shift it to your partner?
No, I'm not. So it's still very much there. Not totally, because there are some things that I have opted out of, like I said, with cooking. Although even with that, I try and like, should we think about what meals we could have this week? And like,
stop pretending.
Yeah, like I'm trying to get involved because I suppose
chef,
I'm
he's
aware.
sous chef.
Yeah. I suppose it's like I'm aware if it was the other way around. Sometimes it's not the cooking; it's like trying to work out what to have, isn't it? That sort of thing. So I'm aware of that. No, I'm very.
That bit's exhausting.
Yeah, and all the
all
WhatsApp groups, I'm all across. And if it's someone's birthday, I'm getting them a present, and the teachers, you know, this, that, and the so I'm across all of it still.
Does it take you a while to reintegrate? Because I find that when I've been away for whether it's a couple of days or even, you know, especially if it's longer, by the time I come back, they've kind of worked out their system.
Yeah, and
then I'm like coming back into it and disrupting it in a sense because that system now has to be sort of restructured.
Yeah.
But actually, obviously, the system when we're all there also works.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to get back to that. Is it the same for you?
I totally recognise that. Yeah. And then when my husband was a journalist and he would go away for weeks at a time and it would just be me and my daughter and we very much had a good thing going on and I would be a little bit annoyed when he came back because I'm like, no, we've been fine actually.
Thank you very
and
much.
then you reconfigure and it gets normal again. But yeah, I'm sure. And I come back and I annoy them and everyone's a bit more fractious because I'm there. The emotions are heightened.
And do you come back as like fun mum? Because I always say that about my husband sometimes if he goes away. He comes back as fun dad.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
and it's
for
like
sure.
Always like 100% full on. And
oh,
like,
sure. I'd love to do that.
And I'm like, I've just cleaned up dinner. I've just done this.
Yeah. I think you do because you want to spend time with them and you're full of energy, aren't you, for at least 5 minutes until they deplete it again. And I want to give my husband a break as well. You're you're balancing all those things.
Yeah. Brilliant. And we've got a quick fire question.
Go for it.
Yes.
JB's going to do, but I'm going to just quickly ask one last question before we go into quick fire. When your children are grown up, there's a thought, what do you hope they remember most about life at home?
That's a big question, isn't it? That's something we don't think about enough. That they felt loved and supported and listened to and that it was fun. I don't know if that's a millennial obsession with fun, but I would like them to think it was.
We are having fun, aren't we?
My mother-in-law who's staying with us at the moment, she's brought this is not quick, was brought up in Croatia, like under sort of communism, and she was saying like when she was younger, life isn't fun, and she would go to funerals and see dead bodies, and I'm like, oh God. She's like, you shouldn't be obsessed about fun all the time. And I was like, she wasn't sort of criticising me, she was in general, and I was like, oh God, I think I do really prioritise having fun. Yeah. Oh God, is that good? I don't know.
We'll
ask the kids in 20 years.
I think it's great to have fun. Obviously, it's great to have balance. Like for me, we can't get into grief because I think that's whole nother conversation. But you know, things like that are really important also to see. But yeah, I don't think going to a funeral every week with an open casket is quite the one. Although I did have that. At 7 or 8, I'm pretty sure it's just like when my family's from the Caribbean and stuff like that. You never ever have a funeral with a closed casket. It just doesn't happen.
Really?
I think more so now you do.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and if I was with my great aunt, for instance, she's like my grandmother. I didn't have any other grandparents because they'd passed before I was born. But if I was with her for the summer, 5-6 weeks, whatever it was, and she had a funeral and we just all went.
You went. Wow.
So it was just something that, you know what I mean? It's just something you experience.
So
but I wouldn't always recommend. For me, it wasn't an issue. For my brother, he absolutely hated it. Right. So I think for everyone, it's different. And obviously, at different ages, you get to grips with certain themes of life that.
Yeah. I think as they grow up, the big questions are something I'm not prepared for, I think. You know, some of the stuff I'm like, I can do potty training, but, you know, talking about death, God, I haven't.
It's a lot.
I need to think about this
and it does
more.
Sort of come out.
It's a big responsibility, isn't it? About how you sort of shape it in their mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note,
we'll
get a bit lighter.
On the open casket.
And we'll go quick fire. Nothing too complex.
We talk about every podcast.
Funeral or wedding? No. But no, we got quick fire. Just the first thing that comes to mind. Doesn't have to just be a word. It could be a phrase, whatever. Biggest parenting fail.
Recently I gave my son a big tub of water to play in when it was hot, and I put loads of food dye in that I'd got off Amazon, and I put so much in that it stained his legs and he looked pink like Peppa Pig. Very funny. Then he started acting a bit weirdly, and I said, imagine if he's absorbed all the E numbers. And then he was mental, and that's what had happened. He was, it was, because you know when stains your fingers. That's how much I'd put in. I put in so much of this gel. I'd stained him pink and made him insane. So that was not a good one.
No.
Well done, me. Well done, me there.
Oh, listen, it's an easy mistake to happen. What's always forgotten on the school run, if anything?
We're pretty good, actually, because I'm controlling.
Be organised.
Good. All right, who says yes most? I think I know the answer to this one.
Me. Yeah, me.
What's your children's favourite thing about you, would you say?
Silly. I'm silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who apologises first after an argument?
Me.
Oh.
You weren't expecting that,
I wasn't expecting that one. Go on, Ellie.
But I would say that, wouldn't I?
One parenting purchase you completely regret.
Anything, now we've got 2 children that there isn't 2 of, because it's the sharing battle.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah, you need to have.
God,
you can't come back for
I
one.
remember we went to Wimbledon last year and I bought a pink ball and a yellow ball.
Yes.
No, why would you do that?
Why would I do exactly? And so obviously everyone's fighting over the pink ball, and I'm like, oh God. So everything is now exactly the same.
Yeah. One thing that no one warned you about.
Just how hard 2 children is, how it's not. People always, people did try to say to me, it's not just double the work, it's more. And I was like, sure. But it's like having 25 children.
Yeah. Is there anything motherhood has made you unexpectedly brilliant at?
Very good at pouring a bowl of Cheerios, let me tell you that.
We'll take it. Well, Ellie, it's been fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
So good
what a
to see
pleasure.
you.
Really nice to have a chat.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you.
Love hearing all your stories. Thank you for listening to the Netmums podcast, and share, like, review, follow, all those things. And we'll see you next time.